fiddle, the timbrel, the lyre play with appropriate passion, fashion, songs of delight and delicious desire for the night of my nights. Come where the so well beloved is waiting, where the rose and the jasmine mingle, while I tell her the moon is for mating, and 'tis sin to be single. Let peacocks and monkeys in purple adornings night of my nights, after the night of my nights, 'tis the night of my nights. Oh, play with appropriate passion, fashion, songs of delight and delicious desire for the night of my nights. Come where the so well beloved is waiting, where the rose and the jasmine mingle, while I tell her the moon is for mating, and 'tis sin to be single. Let peacocks and monkeys in purple adornings show her the way to my bridal chamber, then get you on till the morn of my mornings, after the night of my nights. 'Tis the night of my nights, after the night of my nights. 'Tis the night of my nights.
Well, I'm going to talk at this mic to start with, and then I'll migrate down here, but I know what I want. I don't need my cheat notes to start the evening off. Thank you guys so much for coming. This is our second outing here at Bering with From Baghdad to Baseball. We are Paul Hope Cabarets, and let me introduce these crazy people sharing the stage with me this evening. Over here, oh yes, we have we have hear no evil, see no evil, and speak no evil. Here is the indescribable Mr. Seth Cunningham. Our diva assoluta, Tamara Seiler. And our queen of the high seas, Lauren Salazar. And over here we have the fifth dimension. And we have our very own Ethel Merman, Richard Paul Fink. He's the bane of microphones everywhere. And also someone who's returning to us after a long absence, the wonderful Amanda Passanante. Our temptress extraordinaire, Miss Whitney Zangarini. A very twisted balladeer we all know and love, Mr. Brad Gertz. And that Greek god who sang lead on our opening number, Mr. Pantelis Karastamatis. Okay, tonight, it's a bit of a schizophrenic program, and it's a big one. So we are taking an intermission. It's a lot, we've got a lot of music for you, so I'm gonna try to shut up as much as possible so you can hear, so we can move this thing along. Most musicals fall into one of two broad categories. Either the lovely romantic things like the Rodgers and Hammerstein shows and My Fair Lady, the very lyrical pieces, or the brassy, funny musical comedies. And so we've got an act of each for you this evening, represented by two songwriting teams that were big on Broadway in the 1950s. Act one, we'll get to Act two when we get to Act two, but Act one is the songs of a team, Robert Wright and George Forrest. They started out in Hollywood in the 40s and came to Broadway in the 40s, but they had their biggest hit in 1950. That's the Baghdad part of the program. It was a show called Kismet that was a beloved show that doesn't get done much today, but the lion's share of the songs we're going to do in Act One are from Kismet. Wright and Forrest were a couple in real life, and the last show they wrote anything for on Broadway, they wrote when they were in their 80s. So they had a very long career. And they first came to Broadway with a show that was very much an operetta. It was very old-fashioned, and it came right after Oklahoma, and you would have thought that everyone would have said, well, this is too creaky for words. But it was a big hit, ran 3 years, big hit in London. They made a dreadful movie of it in the 60s with Florence Henderson. Don't check it out. Wright and Forrest's specialty was to take melodies by a classical composer and turn them into a show tune. So they did this with 4 different shows. 2 were hits, 2 were not. So this first big hit of theirs on Broadway was a show called Song of Norway, and it was a highly fictitious telling of the life of the Norwegian composer Edvard Grieg. And these one song's very simple, but the first one is very operatic and a little bit campy, but get your minds in an operetta frame of mind, because it really is some gorgeous music. And here to sing it for you now are Amanda Passanante and Seth Cunningham.
Strange music in my ears. Only now, as you spoke, did it start. Strange music of the spheres. Could the lovely hum be coming from my heart? You appear, and I hear songs sublime, song that I'm incapable of. So dear, let me hold you near, while we treasure every measure, so that time can never change the strange new music of love. Strange music in my ears. Only now, as you spoke, did it start.
Strange music of the spheres.
Do I hear angels or the lovely hum that's coming from my heart? You appear, and I hear songs sublime, song that I'm incapable of, but you have found it. Dear, let me hold you near, while we treasure every measure, so that time can never change the strange new music of love.
Is this mic on? The light isn't on it. Okay, good. It's alive. It's alive. I did not introduce somebody who really is the star of this show, because he deserves his own isolated introduction, and that is our musical director extraordinaire, our maestro, Mr. Stephen Jones. And, you know, Stephen musical directed a Leonard Bernstein evening we did 2 years ago, and he said this show was harder to play than Leonard Bernstein, but it's only because he already knew the Leonard Bernstein stuff and he didn't know this stuff. This next song is also from Song of Norway. Then we'll leave the fjords. But this is a gorgeous song that used to be sung a lot at weddings, and I think you will recognize it. It's based on a Grieg art song, which is called Ich liebe dich. So predictably, the name of it in the show is I Love You. And here to sing it for you now is Brad Gertz.
I hear you ask if I am yours for keeping. Shame that a doubt should ever pass your lips. I say it waking, shall I say it sleeping? I love your lips, I love your laugh, I love the tear that dims your dancing eyes. I love you, dear, and there your answer lies. And should you ask if time has dulled my longing, say, has the northern star gone coursing south? If me you doubt, 'tis only you you're wronging. I loved you then, I love you now, I love you when the world grows old and dies. I love you, dear, and here your answer lies.
I need both hands for this story, so I've got to go back to this mic. So before we leave Song of Norway, I do have one story about a production of it. It came to me through my mentor, a gentleman named Roger Allen Raby, who used to be the production stage manager at Tuts. And Roger, early in his career, he started out his career as a dancer. And one of his first professional jobs, if not his first professional job, was at Dallas Summer Musicals, and they did Song of Norway. Now, Song of Norway ends with a Northern Lights ballet to Grieg's piano concerto. Yes, it's that kind of show. And so on stage is this Alp, and they've hired some big, ballet couple from New York City Ballet to come dance the leads in this Northern Lights ballet. And at the climax of the ballet, they're climbing up opposite sides of this Alp, reaching romantically towards one another while the Northern Lights are going crazy on the backdrop. And the corps de ballet is down on the deck, and about every 8 counts, 2 of the women are spinning off upstage toward the Alp, breaking off from their partners. Shoom, shoom, shoom. Well, what nobody thought of is that at Dallas Summer Musicals, whenever the new show on the season was coming in, they would store the scenery for the new show upstage of the show that was currently playing, which meant that the scenery for the current show was playing a foot or 2 further downstage than everyone was used to. And the next show after Song of Norway was a production of Destry Rides Again, the shoot-'em-up Western musical that Andy Griffith did on Broadway. And so once they stored that scenery at the next performance of Song of Norway, as Mario and Yolanda are climbing up opposite sides of the Alp, the women start spinning off from their partners, and every 8 counts, they're slamming into this Alp. And Mario and Yolanda are doing this, trying not to fall off the Alp, and the repeated slamming made the clasps holding the Alp together come apart, and it slid apart to reveal a Western bar. So that's my fave, Song of Norway. I think all productions of Song of Norway should be done that way. So anyway, moving along with Ride and Forest, their next show on Broadway typically got rave reviews for the score, but everyone said, what a stupid story. And so it did not run very long. It was a show called Magdalena, and they adapted the Brazilian composer Villa-Lobos. He actually collaborated with them on this score. The only name in the cast that you might remember is John Raitt, who was the original Billy in Carousel. And it was, the score's been rediscovered lately, and they made there was a concert done of it, and there's been a wonderful CD of that score, so check it out. It's a show called Magdalena, so you can get the CD and it is a silly story, but, and it's in the rainforests, and it's in South America, and and there's some emeralds involved, and it's that kind of show. So, however, their next show was their biggest hit. It was in 1950, and it was based on a play that had been a big hit in the early 20th century, and it was an Arabian Nights kind of tale. And it was made into a non-musical film with Ronald Colman and Marlene Dietrich. Dietrich was painted gold in the movie. And so they decided to make it a musical, and they adapted the melodies of the Russian composer Alexander Borodin. The show starred Alfred Drake, who was the original Curly in Oklahoma and the lead in Kiss Me Kate. He won a Tony for his performance in this show. It was called Kismet, a musical Arabian Night. And I won't go into much detail about the plot. The plot doesn't matter. But the plot, this one plays okay. And, but the main character is a penniless street poet in Baghdad. The whole show takes place in the span of a day. And he and his daughter are penniless on the streets of Baghdad, and he is in the process of selling rhymes. And that's where we first meet Haj and Marsana, our leading characters.
Rhymes, fine rhymes. Rhymes, fine rhymes have I. Rhymes, fine rhymes, sweet rhymes have I. Rhymes, fine rhymes, sweet rhymes have I. Sly rhymes, wry rhymes, neat rhymes have I. To a world too prone to be prosaic, I bring my own panacea, an iota of iambic and a tittle of trochaic, added to a small amount of onomatopoeia, lays that sing with rhymes have I, couplets that ring with chimes have I. Happy rhymes like money makes you sunny, spicy rhymes like virtue can hurt you, learned rhymes, the camel's a mammal, and others very various on matters multifarious, like beard, sheared, burnous, loose, stairs, prayers, mosque, kiosk, minaret, and parapet, and many more that I'll beget betimes. Rhymes have I, rhymes have I have
Rhymes, fine rhymes, true rhymes has he. Rhymes, bright rhymes, new rhymes has he. Thoughtful rhymes,
like learning leads to earning.
truthful rhymes,
Drinking stops your thinking.
helpful rhymes,
Sinning is thinning.
and others miscellaneous on matters more extraneous, like crutch,
Clutch,
look,
hook,
Vagrant.
Fragrant.
Dervish.
Lavish.
Horn.
Worn.
Dromedary. Dromedary.
Very hairy.
Very hairy.
Songs of sense.
Songs of sense and
And pertinence in reference to all events and climes. Rhymes have I.
Rhymes have I.
Rhymes has she.
Rhymes has he.
Rhymes have we. Rhymes have we.
We have rhymes.
Y'all made the screens black out. That was, now they haven't made that mistake before. We've had, you know, there have been some interesting mistakes or interesting sets of lyrics that have been done in our previous performances, but we haven't done that one before. So, it's enough to keep us on our toes. In short order, we meet the other leading female character of the play. She's the wife of the chief of police, who's the bad guy in the story. And her name is Laloum. And she enters being carried by 4 weightlifters in a sedan chair. In the original production, one of them was Steve Reeves, of all people. Yes, that's Steve Reeves. And, let's just say that Laloum is oversexed and underserved. And so in the story, she's trying to convince some foreign princesses who don't like Baghdad that they really should stay. So here comes Tiffany with 2 of her bodyguards.
And my husband.
I always forget I have to sing 2 lines as her husband in this. Every time. It's the hard bodies. They just make me so nervous. I have memory problems. All right.
Baghdad, don't underestimate Baghdad.
A city rich in romantic oriental lore.
Baghdad, you must investigate Baghdad.
And learn a few of the facts you never knew before.
Due south of the Garden of Eden, due north of the Gulf of Aden, where every male and maiden is laden down with the blisses of Baghdad, this irresistible town. When or where could you compare high life to the life you'll find here? Not since Nineveh, not since Tyre, not since Babylon turned to mire. For the sin of a kind we never mind here. Where or when ever again low life, like the life well known here. Not since Nineveh, not since Sidon, not since Jericho started sliding from the din of a horn that's never blown here. Our palaces are gaudier, our alleyways are bawdier, our prince is more autocratic here, our beggars more distinctly aromatic here. Where could you ever pursue your life with the zeal we feel here? Not since Babylon read that writing, not since Jericho heard that trumpet, not since Nebuchadnezzar's hanging gardens went to pot, not since that village near Gomorrah got too hot for Lot. No.
Whitney Zangarini and her boys. We're next going to do a pair of numbers that Haj and Marsana sing in reaction to some very accidental, but nonetheless very good fortune that has come their way in one day. Haj, through no efforts of his own, winds up with a bag of money, and he gives Marsana some of the money to go shopping in the bazaar to make herself gorgeous. And then after she sings a song about that, he then meditates on his good fortune and how accidental good fortune can be.
Baubles, bangles, hear how they jing, jing-a-ling-a. Baubles, bangles, bright shiny beads, sparkles, spangles. My heart will sing, sing-a-ling-a, wearing baubles, bangles, and beads. I'll glitter and gleam so, make somebody dream, so that someday he may buy me a ring, ring-a-ling-a. I've heard that's where it leads, wearing baubles, bangles, and beads. I'll glitter and gleam so, make somebody dream, so that someday he may buy me a ring, ring-a-ling-a. I've heard that's where it leads. Wearing baubles, bangles, and beads.
I sat down feeling desolated, bowed my head and crossed my knees. Is fortune really predicated upon such tiny terms as these? Then fate's a thing without a head, a puzzle never understood, and man proceeds where he is led, unguaranteed of bad or good. Fate can be the trap in your path, the result of your tears, your wine of wrath. Fate can be shade in the desert blaze, sudden food in a famine found, the sound of praise, incomprehensible and strange. Fate can play a trick with a twine, to weave the evil and good in destiny. I look at you and cannot see. Is it good? Is it ill? Am I blessed? Am I cursed? Is it honey on my tongue or brine? What fate is mine? Fate can play a trick with a twine to weave the evil and good in one design. And so my destiny, I look at you and cannot see. Is it good? Is it ill? Am I blessed? Am I cursed? Is it honey on my tongue or brine? What fate is mine?
One of the things I love about us doing the show here at Bering is I get to sit on the front row and see the front of my singers. Because at ovations, I'm always standing upstage of them, and so their backs are wonderful during these songs, but they actually, they're actually fun to watch from the front. So this next pair of songs, we once again revisit Hajj and Marsana later in the day. And she has been followed by a stranger that has glommed her in the marketplace and been dazzled by all of her baubles, bangles, and beads, but mostly by her. And so they meet up later on, and, it's that kind of show. They fall in love immediately. And what she doesn't realize is that he's actually the Caliph, the Caliph of Baghdad, who's under a lot of pressure to marry. And he's found who he wants right there, and it's Marsana. And then also in somewhere else, Hajj, her dad, is meditating on the fact that in the course of a day he has now become a vizier and is considered a very powerful sorcerer, all of which is because he's lied his ass off. And and he's very good at it, and he's very much a gambler. And so it's his meditation on ambition and whether it's time to stop. Have I been fortunate enough, or do I keep going? So both of them gorgeous songs.
The leaves on the mulberry tree whisper differently now. And why is the nightingale singing at noon on the mulberry bough? For some most mysterious reason, this isn't the garden I know.
Take my hand, I'm a stranger in paradise, all lost in a wonderland, a stranger in paradise. If I stare starry-eyed, that's a danger in paradise, for mortals who stand beside an angel like you. I saw your face, and I ascended out of the commonplace into the rare, somewhere in space. I hang suspended until I know there's a chance that you care. Won't you answer the fervid prayer of a stranger in paradise? Don't send me in dark despair from all that I hunger for, but open your angel's arms to the stranger in paradise and tell him that he need be a stranger no more.
I saw your face, and I ascended out of the commonplace into the rare.
Somewhere in space, I hang suspended
Until I know
till the moment I know
there's a chance that you can.
there's a chance that you
You
can.
answer the fervent prayer of a stranger in paradise.
Don't send me in dark despair from all that I hunger for, but open your angel's arms to the stranger in paradise and tell me that I need be a stranger no more.
And a wondrous thought had he. So he rose and he told it to the sky. And where was I? Behind the tree I overheard his revelry. Why be content with an olive when you could have the tree? Why be content to be nothing when there's nothing you couldn't be? Why be contented with one olive tree when you could have the whole olive grove? Why be content with the grove when you could have the world? A fool stood beneath an olive tree, and a wondrous thought had he. But alas, it was very, very deep. And then he yawned and went to sleep, because you see, he was a fool. Why be content with an olive when you could have the tree? That which has lulled you to sleep, fool, has awakened me. Why should I sigh that my lot is my lot, that I can't make it anything more, when this is a lie, an excuse for a fool to snore? I walked from behind the olive tree with a wondrous change in me, for I walked with my eye upon a star. If you have heard and do not heed, there is a word for what you are. And oh, my friend, the word is fool.
I'm just trying to keep the show tight. That's just what it is. Richard, I did not mean to cut your number, although I have accidentally done this before in other shows, you know, and they've had to holler at me from the sidelines and going, Paul, there's another number here. So at any rate, Kismet is not revived today, unfortunately, very, very often. New York City Opera has done it, and City Center Encores did a concert of it, and everybody always talks about how silly the Arabian Nights story is, but how gorgeous the music is. It did win the Tony Award for Best Musical in its year. Strangely enough, it won the Tony for Best Score, but it didn't go to Wright and Forrest, it went to Alexander Borodin, who of course was dead. And so that was a strangeness in the Tony voters' thinking. It was a successful MGM movie with Howard Keel, and Anne Blythe was Marcina. Yeah, she didn't just play Joan Crawford's daughter in Mildred Pierce. She had a beautiful soprano voice. And as the Caliph, strange casting, Vic Damone. I absolutely would have cast him as a caliph in Baghdad, Vic Damone. You know, it was like at the Sahara in Vegas, yes, but not in Kismet. Obviously, Baubles, Bangles, and Beads was a big pop hit, and Stranger in Paradise, and this last one was the third hit. And in this configuration, it starts out as a conversation between Hajj, I'm Hajj in this number, and Marcina, and she's talking about the Caliph to her dad. And the Caliph is also excited about Marcina, and he's talking to his wazir of police about to have just a swig of water, excuse me. And it's not what someone else is saying. You'd say his eyes were
sometime bright,
but only sometime,
often dark.
Well, that is clear.
Plain words can't tell the thrill.
Then tell it how you will.
Dawn's promising sky,
Sometime bright,
petals on a pool,
but only sometime.
drifting,
often dark,
imagining
Not very clear.
in one pair of
mere words cannot convey.
And this is my beloved.
Then try another way.
Strange
say his smile was
voice from the south,
Sometime gay,
honey through the
but only sometime.
sifting.
often sad.
Imagine these
Sad smiles are strange.
on one eager mouth.
Can be very strange.
And this is my beloved.
I hope he'll never change.
And when she speaks,
And when he talks to you,
Mystery.
mystery.
and when she moves,
And when he walks with you,
Paradise comes suddenly
Can suddenly near.
I know it did. We have one of my dear friends who is part of Houston theater history. Teresa Nelson Cooney is here on the front row. She was the first Liesel in any Sound of Music that Tuts ever did. First and second. And she and Maria were the same age, so even. But she was able to play 16 quite easily. So at any rate, I was glad. I could tell Teresa got teared up with that one. As I said, Kismet was a big hit. Ran a couple of years on Broadway. It ran even longer in London. In skipping ahead, in the mid-'60s, Wright and Forrest did a musical version of Anastasia. Yes, someone did it before Disney or DreamWorks did, and it ran 9 performances. It was gorgeous. It was absolutely gorgeous, but 1965 was not the time to do an operetta with melodies based on Rachmaninoff. It starred Constance Towers with Lillian Gish as the Dowager Empress speaking her one number. And it was the last show ever done at the old Ziegfeld Theater. And it was, however, undeterred, Wright and Forrest began revising it as a chamber piece, and so eventually shrunk it down to like something that could have a cast of 10 with 2 pianos, and Rachmaninoff is all about piano anyway. And so it's now called the Anastasia Affair. And unfortunately, that Broadway musical of Anastasia that played a few years ago, I think with Alan Menken, with an Alan Menken score, Ahrens and Flaherty, Alan Menken. Yeah, I know that generation. I could say Michael John LaCusa, and who would sneeze. But at any rate, there was a lot of litigation about the rights to the story and all of that. And so, unfortunately, the musical is probably, I think, tied up in all of that about the rights to the Anastasia story. However, we're going to do just one song that is so gorgeous, and it actually is a Rachmaninoff melody that was made into a very successful pop hit. And let's see who out there can guess what that was. But from the Anastasia Affair and Anya is this song, this gorgeous song that Seth's going to sing for you right now.
When storms have tossed your heart and left you weak and worn, then you must think upon something beautiful. When all your fondest dreams are scattered here and yon, then you must think upon something beautiful. A tree transformed by autumn, the way a sunset glows, a waterfall, a wedding cake, a rose. When all your friends have flown and hope is all but gone, then you must think upon summer skies, carousels, butterflies, whereupon through your tears you'll see that living still can be something beautiful. When all your friends have flown and hope is all but gone, then you must think upon summer skies, carousels, butterflies, whereupon through your tears you'll see that living still can be something beautiful, beautiful, beautiful.
With a song that pretty, we had to do something for Manya. So, did anybody recognize that melody as something from a puppet? Never gonna fall in love again. Da, 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 da. Remember that? Remember that? Okay, in the mid-50s, Wright and Forrest did an adaptation, an ill-fated one, of the old story, or that the film was based on, of Grand Hotel. Unfortunately, they updated it and set it in Rome, and the actress who had played Laloum in Kismet, her name is Joan Diener. The only thing you'd ever know her from was she was the original Aldonza in Man of La Mancha. And her hubby had directed Kismet, and he also directed La Mancha, and he also directed this Grand Hotel musical, which they called At the Grand. And the Lionel Barrymore part, Mr. Kringeline, was played by Paul Muni, of all people. And it got good reviews. It was out on the West Coast, and but he was ill at the time, and so it didn't move in to New York. It didn't open in New York. And so it was forgotten for many years until Tommy Tune decided that he wanted to do his own adaptation of Grand Hotel. And he looked up this material and said, I want to use your songs. Wright and Forrest are in their 80s at this time. And Tommy starts workshopping the show, and they go out of town, and he needs new numbers written. And Wright and Forrest are like, oh yes, a couplet a day, you know, which was not exactly fast enough for Mr. Tune. So he had to bring in another songwriter. So the score of Grand Hotel is by two different. Hello? Was that my agent commenting on something I was doing? Or it's my cordless down there in the pew, I guess. At any rate, the two halves of the score fit together beautifully. And we're just going to do two numbers to close out the set. This number is, the character, the Greta Garbo character, is an aging ballerina who's coming to the end of her career. She's very depressed about it. And she has a female companion, Rafaela, who takes care of her. And Rafaela tends to wear suits and is usually is in a sort of a Louise Brooks page boy, and she's got the tie, and she looks very severe. And what she hasn't told anyone is she's been saving her money all these years so that she can take care of the ballerina, Grushenskaya, once she has to retire, because she's been in love with her all these years and she's never told her. And so this is a song that she sings about her feelings for Grushenskaya in the middle of the night. Tamara Seiler.
What you need is someone strong to lean upon when you're low. What you need is someone wise to count upon as you go. What I am is far from strong and far from wise, oh far indeed. Yet suddenly, when you're close to me, I am somehow strong, in some way wise, like someone who's what you need. Yet suddenly, when you cling to me, I am somehow strong, in some way wise, like someone who's what you need.
Before we do our last song, which is from Grand Hotel as well, just wanted to tell you this, that I did 2 productions of Grand Hotel. The first time I got to do it was at Casa Manana in Fort Worth, and Sid Charisse played the aging ballerina, and we took the show as well to North Shore Music Theater in Massachusetts. And at that age, she still could get up on point in the show. And then we did it, Theater Under the Stars decided to do it, and it was a shared production. We opened it in the Fifth Avenue Theater in Seattle and did it in Proscenium. And then we brought it to Houston and did it in the Round at the arena out in Sharpstown, that was when the Hobby Center was being built. Our Grushinskaya was Liliane Montevecchi, who played it on Broadway. And Tuts, because most of the shows at Tuts are, upbeat, not very dark, and Grand Hotel is a dark show, Tuts, trying to offset that, billed it as Tommy Tune's Grand Hotel. So Tommy Tune is above the title, Tommy Tune's Grand Hotel. Well, and we had a 6-foot-tall actress playing Raffaella. She's a very tall actress. Very good, and there is no intermission in Grand Hotel. And so at one performance, these 2 little old ladies got up to go to the John during the show and went up the aisle, and they ran into one of our prop men and asked him where the ladies' room was, and he pointed them in the right direction. Before they went, one of them said, "Which one is Tommy Tune?" And without dropping a beat, he said, "Raffaella." And she turned to her friend and said, "I told you." You just wonder what's going on out there. So after this number, we're going to take a brief intermission so you guys can stretch your legs. We have coffee and noshes out here in the breezeway, or at least I know we've got coffee. And this is a number about drinking up. So even though we usually do it in a place where they're serving cocktails, you can just think about how delicious that coffee is going to be. Now that we've done all of our class, the second act is all of our sass. So all the musical comedy stuff is in Act 2, so don't go away. Okay, I think we can... No. That is not... What is going on up there? Well, we can do it in full light, okay. Getting ready for intermission. No, don't touch it or we'll be in the dark. No.
We'll take a glass together in celebration of our meeting.
In celebration of our being face to face.
Friendly,
Civilized.
toasting face to face. I'll drink to you,
No, I to you.
then you to me.
Yes, you to me.
I think we two
I'm sure we too.
could find no finer company.
Thank you, Bradley.
We'll take a glass together.
And we will lift it to the good life.
And while we're lifting it, we will most sincerely say,
Prosit!
Your health, sir.
Salute!
And skål!
Nastrovia.
A votre santé.
For one more moment in a cold and careless day, we'll take a glass together.
We'll take a glass together in celebration of our meeting.
In celebration of our being at this bar.
Improbable.
Incredible!
Ah, yes, but here we are.
I'll drink to you,
no, I to you.
then vice versa.
Yes, vice versa.
It might be true.
I'm sure it's true.
Things may be bad, but it could be worse.
Absolutely.
We'll ask no why or whether. We'll seize the moment. Yes, we will.
As it moves us,
As it moves on.
Nip the nectar of the day.
Sherry.
From Paris.
Scotch whiskey!
Chartreuse.
A cognac.
An absinthe frappe.
For one more moment in a world gone cold and cross, we'll take a glass together. 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 Lord higher.
Mr. Stephen Jones. We'll see you back here in 15 minutes. No? Am I live yet? There I am. Come back in. Come back in. We have so much more to sing for you this evening. Oh, good. As I said, we've done all the class. Now we have to do the sass for you. A lot of you have come up to me. You've been so sweet about how can we donate money to you. You know, I didn't want to ask for put out a tip jar without we cleared it with Bearing. You know, and I'd forgotten to ask. But if you do want to donate to Paul Hope Cabarets, we have a website, and our email is just go to www.paulhopecabarets.org or just Google Paul Hope Cabarets, and it'll take you to our website, and there's a link where you can make donations. And it'll also tell, some of you are going, is this your home city? They're like, we're a tour group. That's next year. No, yes, this is our home city, and we generally premiere these shows at Ovations in Rice Village, and do them on Monday nights, 3 consecutive Monday nights, and then thank you very much. That's the first thing I felt back there in years. And so thank you. Could you do that again, whoever that was? At any rate, it's like, you know, the guy who, you know, pulled the woman's skirt out of her top of her pantyhose in church, and she slapped him, and so he put it back in, and she slapped him again, you know, that old joke. At any rate, so at any rate, you can donate to us on our website, and you can also find out the dates of our other productions. We will be back here with our next show in May. Which is called Coming Up Roses, and it's Julie Stein in the 50s. So it's songs from Gentlemen Prefer Blondes, Bells Are Ringing, Peter Pan, and most importantly, Gypsy. So we're all arguing over who gets to play what stripper. So, and you know, we may alternate on different nights. So we're all studying ballet and the trumpet. So. So we can be special in Gypsy. Okay, so Act 2. Richard Adler and Jerry Ross were a songwriting team that had a pop hit with Tony Bennett called Rags to Riches. Hey, yeah, you can take the house lights out. Oh, it worked. All right. And they were proteges of Frank Lesser, you know, the guy who wrote Guys and Dolls and How to Succeed. And there was a brand new musical that was going to be done on Broadway, and it was about a romance across the picket lines or the labor lines between management and labor in a pajama factory in the Midwest. And the producers... Hal Prince and Bobby Griffith. It was Harold Prince's first show to produce. They were a little nervous about a new songwriting team, so Frank Lesser said, if you get in a bind, I'll write any songs you need if they're not able to come up with what you like. So he was the safety net there. And there was also, they'd asked Jerome Robbins to choreograph this show, and he didn't want to do it, but said, I have someone I'd like to recommend to you, and if he doesn't come through, I'll be his safety net. And he was going to be safety net for Bob Fosse. It was his first Broadway show. And the show is called The Pajama Game, and I'm in this number. Yes, I do remember that I am in this number. And I have to be over there. And the first person we're going to meet at the factory is Mr. Hines, who's the efficiency expert.
The pajama game is the game I'm in, and I'm proud to be in the pajama game. I love it. I can hardly wait to wake and get to work at 8. Nothing's quite the same as the pajama game. All right, girls, get to the factory. Come on, we gotta get to work. Tempus fugit, tempus fugit.
Hurry up.
Hurry up. Hurry up.
Can't waste time.
Hurry up.
Can't waste time. When you're
Hurry
racing
up.
with the clock. When you're
Hurry
racing
up.
with the clock. And the
Hurry
second
up.
hand doesn't understand that your
Hurry
back
up.
is breaking, your fingers ache, and your
Hurry up.
constitution isn't made of rock. It's a
Hurry
losing
up.
race when you're racing with the
Hurry
racing
up.
with the racing with the
It's a
clock.
losing race when you're racing with the clock. Hurry up. Hurry up. Hurry up.
Can't waste time.
Hurry up.
Waste time.
When you're racing with the clock. When you're racing with the clock. And the second hand doesn't understand that your back may break and your fingers ache and your constitution isn't made of rock. It's a losing race when you're racing with the clock.
When will old man Hassler break down and come up with our 7.5 cent raise?
How in hell can I buy me a swell new second-hand car on that salary he pays?
What do you think of the new superintendent?
He's cute.
He'll never last.
He's kind of fresh for a new superintendent. I like a man with spunk.
You like a man, period.
All right, girls, cut out the laughing. Cut out the laughing. Tempus fugit. Tempus fugit. Hurry up.
Hurry up. Hurry up. Hurry up.
Can't waste time.
Hurry up.
Can't waste time.
When you're racing with the clock. When you're racing with the clock. And your second hand doesn't understand that your back may break and your fingers ache and your constitution isn't made of rock. It's a losing race when you're racing with the clock. Can't waste time.
Racing, 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 racing with the clock.
Well, Mr. Hines has a problem. He's dating Gladys, who is the secretary of the CEO, the big boss. And Gladys is a very friendly young lady, and he is very jealous. And so even when Gladys is not doing anything, Hines tends to make scenes. And so early on in the first act, he has done so. And so Mabel, one of the senior secretaries, has decided she is going to get him out of this bad habit. And so Tamara's going to be Mabel, and we'll check in with Mr. Hines once more.
Hinesy.
I've learned my lesson, Mabel. I'll never be jealous again.
You stick to it now.
Absolutely.
That's easier said than done.
I can do it.
I knew it. But let's take an example, just for fun.
Okay, Mabel.
Picture this. You're sitting and waiting for her to come back from a date.
There I am. I'm sitting and waiting for her to come back from a date.
Here she comes. Her blouse is unbuttoned. Her stockings are not very straight.
Here she comes. Her blouse is unbuttoned. Her stockings are not very straight.
Later on, she gets a bouquet with a card and it's saying to baby, you were great. Well, Hinesy, what do you do then?
I would trust her. I would trust her. By George, I swear I would trust her. No, I'll never be jealous again.
Nice work, Hines.
I knew I could do it, Mabel.
Now let's take another example.
Okay, sure.
Picture this. You've nothing to do, so you drop into chat for a while.
I've nothing to do, so I drop in to chat for a while.
Something's up. The window is open and Gladys is forcing a
Something's
smile.
up. The window is open and Gladys is forcing a
Then
smile.
you see a shirt and a tie and a pair of pants in a nice, neat little pile. Well, Hinesy,
I would trust her. I would trust her. By George, I swear I would trust her. No, I'll never be jealous. I'll never be jealous again.
That's the stuff, Heinzie. You're practically cured.
There will be no more nightmares to sleep through. No more keyholes to peep through.
No more bushes to creep through.
That's my plan.
Well, now that you're a new man, picture this. You go by your sweetie's apartment, you borrowed the keys.
There I am. I go by my sweetie's apartment, I borrowed the keys.
There she is. She's giving a sailor a very affectionate squeeze.
There she is. She's giving a sailor a very affectionate squeeze.
And to boot, she tells you she was in the arms of her cousin who's back from overseas.
A cousin who's back from overseas. Do you expect me to I would trust her. I would trust her. By George, I swear I would trust her. No, I'll never be jealous. I'll never be jealous again.
Eventually, the new supervisor, who is a total hunk, it was played by John Raitt, from Billy Bigelow in Carousel, meets up with the head of the grievance committee, who's with the union, and there is an immediate attraction, even though they're both very businesslike. However, her name's Babe Williams. His name is Sid Sorokin, and Babe's girlfriends who work with her, who are also on the committee, they pick up that there's some sort of frisson in the air between these two people, and they start giving her grief about it.
Love, are you nuts? Some people can't tell when it hits them.
You're not kidding.
All you gotta do is say hello to a man, and they have you whispering in his ear. All you gotta do is be polite with him, and they have you spending the night with him. If there's a guy you merely have a beer with, they got you setting the wedding date. It seems they just gotta have some dirt to bend your ear with. So before they start, I herewith state, I'm not at all in love, not at all in love, not I, not a bit, not a mite. No, I'll admit he's quite a hunk of guy, but he's not my cup of tea, not my cup of tea, not he, not an ounce, not a pinch. He's just an inch too sure of himself for me. Well, of course, you've noticed that manly physique and that look in his eye. Say, I'm sure he can cut most any man down to size.
He must be as fierce as a tiger when he's mad.
And I'll bet he cries like a little boy when he's sad.
But I'm not at all in love, not at all in love, not I, not a straw, not a hair. I don't care if he's as strong as a lion, or if he has the rest of you sighing. You may be sold, but this girl ain't buying. I'm not at all in love.
not at all in love, not at all in love. She cries.
Not a snip, not a bite.
Must be the light from the ceiling shining there in her eyes. He's young and handsome and smart, and we can't get over it.
But this lady's heart, he doesn't affect a bit.
It's easy to see that her daffy grin is the grin she always wears. And she's breathless because she ran up a flight of stairs.
Obviously.
Naturally.
Certainly.
Obviously.
Naturally.
Certainly.
She's not at all in love, not at all in love, not she.
No, I'm not.
Not a dot,
Not a touch.
no, not much.
When I fall in love, there'll be no doubt about it. 'Cause you will know from the way that I shout it.
You're shouting.
I haven't fallen. She hasn't fallen. I'm not at all in love.
She's not at all in love.
Sopranos can't belt very well, but not my folks. Well, Sid eventually does ask Babe out on a date, and she says, she's very professional. She says, this would never work. You're management and I'm labor. And he is quite dispirited by this, and so he decides to take a memo to give himself a pep talk and tell him to get over it, himself to get over it, and he does it into his dictaphone. And then he plays the message back. So in this next number, Pantelis is going to be Sid, and Seth is going to be the dictaphone, which is inspired casting.
Hey there, you with the stars in your eyes. Love never made a fool of you. You used to be too wise. Hey there, you on that high flying cloud. Though she won't throw a crumb to you, you think someday she'll come to you. Better forget her with her nose in the air. She has you dancing on a string. Break it and she won't care. Won't you take this advice I hand you like a brother? Or are you not seeing things too clear? Are you too much in love to hear? Is it all going in one ear and out the other? Who, me?
I've never made a fool of you.
Not until now.
You used to be too wise.
I was once.
Hey there.
I hear ya.
You on that high flying cloud. Though she won't throw a crumb to you.
Don't rub it in.
You think someday she'll come to you.
Oh, shut up.
better forget her.
Forget her.
Her with her nose in the air.
Her with her nose in the
She's
air.
got you dancing on a string.
Puppet on a string.
Break it and she won't care.
She won't care for me. Take this advice I hand you like a brother. Or am I not seeing things too clear?
Are you just too in love to hear? Is it all going in one ear and out the other?
Bob Fosse came up through nightclubs, and he was used to staging dance numbers for nightclubs, usually using just 2 and 3 people. And that's what he was more comfortable with than large groups. And and he certainly was not really comfortable staging musical numbers that were not dance numbers, so Jerome Robbins sort of filled in there. But Pajama Game really contains one of Fosse's most signature dances. And we're not going to do the Fosse choreography this evening. There's just not enough room for Seth and Tamara to cut loose, but it's still a great song. And remember what that new piece of staging I gave you.
Well, try. I got things in my hands.
Oh, okay. Well, he can still reach for you. Okay. All right. You just grab that bell if you have to.
All right.
All right. Let us pray.
I got steam heat, I got steam heat, I got steam heat, but I need your love to keep away the cold. I got
steam heat. I got steam heat. I got steam heat, but I can't get warm without your hand to hold. The radiator's hissing. Ooh, I need your kissing to keep me from freezing each night.
I got a hot water bottle, but nothing I got'll take the place of you holding me tight. I got
steam heat. I got steam heat. I got steam heat, but I need your love to keep away the cold.
They told me to shovel more coal in the boiler. They told me to shovel more coal in the boiler. They told me to shovel more coal in the boiler.
But that don't do no good.
They told me to pour some more oil in the burner. They told me to pour some more oil in the burner. They told me to pour some more oil in the burner.
But that don't do no good.
Coal in the boiler.
No good.
Oil in the burner.
No good. Cold, no hot, yes. Yes, yes, yes. Come on, Union, get hot. But I need your love to keep away the cold. I need your love to keep away the cold.
There are some things you just can't unsee. Well, there is a legend, something that happened early on in the run of Pajama Game that is show business legend. There was a chorus dancer in the show named Shirley MacLaine. And when she joined the show, when they were in rehearsal, she was wearing long hair. And then she got her hair cut. And the character, Gladys, the secretary, who did the steam heat number, was played by a young lady named Carol Haney. And Hal Prince, the producer, kept talking to George Abbott, the director, and he says, Mr. Abbott, whenever I think I'm looking at Carol, I wind up looking at Shirley, because they look so much alike, and so they made Shirley Carol's understudy. But I think it was in the first week of the run, or certainly in the first couple of weeks of the run, Shirley MacLaine had decided that she was going to go down the street and audition to be Gwen Verdon's understudy in Can-Can, because Gwen Verdon was sometimes out. And so she might get a chance to go on in the role. So she'd gone down there and she had her 2 weeks' notice in her pocket. It was a matinee day for Pajama Game, and the subway got stuck in Times Square, so she was late for her half-hour call. Arrived at the stage door, and there's Bob Fosse and Hal Prince and George Abbott, all the people there going, where have you been? Carol has injured herself badly, you're on. And she had never had an understudy rehearsal. She said she'd only spoken one line on stage in her life. She had been in a Rodgers and Hammerstein show called Me and Juliet. She had one line in it. And she had to take her tennies out of her dance bag. She'd been to Jones Beach on the day off and send them down to wardrobe so they could dye them black for the steam heat number. They were still wet when she danced the number that day, and she just knew that she was going to drop the hat in the steam heat number, because the derbies, they have to do this from the bottom hand and have it go up and catch it in the top. And she said she did drop it, and she said shit. And which in 1954 Broadway, you did not do that on stage. She said the first 3 rows backed up, And she said this cast were on top of one another, on top of each other in the wings, watching to see how she was going to get through this thing. And she said, I must have done okay. She lived to tell the tale because she got a standing ovation. And in the audience was Hal B. Wallace, the film producer, who had come to see Carol Haney and instead saw her and asked her out to dinner and offered her a movie contract. And the rest, as they say, is history. So this next, so steam heat, I first heard the steam heat in the 70s when I was in high school. The Pointer Sisters did a cover of that song. That's where I first heard it. At any rate, this next song was actually written by Frank Lesser, so he had to step in. And both Pantelis and Whitney, when they heard we were doing songs from Pajama Game, they said, I have to sing this song. And I think you'll see why.
I love you more than all the heroes in all the history books.
Tell me.
Oh, what a woman, I'll tell you. There once was a man who loved a woman. She was the one he came to the dragon for. They say that nobody ever loved as much as he. But me, I love you more.
Tell me.
And there once was a man who loved a woman. She was the one he gave his kingdom for. They say that nobody ever loved as much as he. But me, I love you more. My love is a giant, it's fierce and defiant, but how can I prove it to you? I ain't got no kingdom, no dragon to back up my bragging. How can I show what I would do? I only know there once was a man who loved a woman. She was the one he ate the apple for. They say that nobody ever loved as much as he. But me, I love you more.
There once was a woman who loved a man. He was the one that she took poison for. They say that nobody ever loved much as she. But me, I love you more.
Tell me.
And there once was a woman who loved a man. He was the one she swam the channel for. They say that nobody ever loved as much as she. But me, I love you more. My love's meteoric, it's nearly historic. A whirlwind, a cyclone on wheels. It rocks my whole solar plexus. It's bigger than Texas. I just can't tell you how it feels. I only know there once was a woman who loved a man. Loved him enough to cause the Trojan War. They say that nobody ever loved as much as she. But me, I love you more, 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 more.
More than a hangman loves his rope.
More than a dope fiend loves his dope.
More than an engine loves his scalps.
More than a yodeler loves the Alps.
More.
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 More. There once was a man.
There once was a woman
who loved a woman.
who loved a man.
She was the one he slew
She
the
was the one that
dragon
she took poison for.
for. They say that nobody ever loved as much as she. But me, I love you more. But me,
I love you more.
All right, this last song for Pajama Game is our special effects number. And it's, yeah, he's up there punching buttons furiously. Yes, because this is the number that's at the makeout spot in town where the Pajama Factory is. It's also has the best chop suey in town. And here, Brad is going to sing to you about this passion pit.
I know a dark, secluded place, a place where no one knows your face, a glass of wine, a fast embrace. It's called Hernando's Hideaway. Ole, all you'll see are silhouettes, and all you'll hear are castanets, and no one cares how late it gets. Not at Hernando's Hideaway. Ole. At the Golden Finger Bowl or any place you go, you will meet your Uncle Max and everyone you know. But if you are sitting close and making love to me, you may take my heart, you may take my soul, but not my key. You just knock 3 times and whisper low that you and I were sent by Joe. Then strike a match and you will know you're in Hernando's Hideaway. Ole.
A place where no one knows your face.
A glass of wine, a fast embrace.
It's called Hernando's Hideaway. Ole.
Come on, everybody, get your drinks.
At the Golden Finger Bowl or any place you go.
It's time. Come gather round.
You will meet your Uncle Max and everyone you know.
Everybody come.
But if you go to the spot that I am thinking of,
You will be free
to gaze at me.
and talk of love.
Just knock 3
3 times and whisper low that you and I were sent by Joe. Then strike a match and you will know you're in Hernando's Hideaway. Olé!
Steven Spielberg, eat your heart out. This is so high tech. This is so high tech. Well, the Pajama Game was the first Broadway musical to run over 1,000 performances. It was a humongous hit. It won the Tony for Best Musical. Carol Haney won Best Supporting Actress in a Musical, so obviously she got her ankle to working again. And by then, Shirley's out on the West Coast. And Adler and Ross, which, by the way, Pajama Game and the next show are the only 2 musicals they wrote because Jerry Ross died very young. I believe it was leukemia. But at the time, they were the hottest songwriting team on Broadway after this humongous hit with Pajama Game. And so they and the director, George Abbott, and the choreographer, Bob Fosse, and the producer, Hal Prince, decided they'd had such a good time they needed to do another one. And so in this case, it was an adaptation of a novel called The Year the Yankees Lost the Pennant. And it's a sort of Faust story. It's about an old guy who wants to help the Washington Senators beat the Yankees in the World Series. And so he makes a deal with the devil to become young again so he can be a hotshot baseball player to help them. And it was, number one, it was a real 1-2 hit where Bob Fosse was concerned as a choreographer. And it was in this show that he met his muse and soon to be his wife, Gwen Verdon, who was to be the star of this show, which is called Damn Yankees. So this opening number illustrates the conflict between the men in the world who are rabid baseball fans and what it puts their wives through.
When we met in 1938, it was November. When I said that I would be his mate, it was December. I reasoned he would be the greatest husband that a girl had ever found. That's what I reasoned. That's what I reasoned. Then April rolled around.
Strike 3, ball 4, walk around, will tie the score. You're blind, you must be out of your mind.
6 months out of every year, I might as well be made of stone. 6 months out of every year, when I'm with him, I'm alone. 6 months out of every year, he never takes me anywhere. 6 months out of every year, when I play cards, solitaire. The other 6 months out of every year, we are hardly ever seen apart. But then the Washington Senators take over my place in his heart. 6 months out of every year, I might as well be wearing crepe. Life is such an awful bore from which I find no escape. 6 months out of every year.
Strike 3, ball 4, walk around, will tie the score. Fly ball, double play, Yankees win again today. Those damn Yankees, why can't we beat them? He's out. He's safe. He's out. He's safe. He's out. He's safe. He's out. You're blind, you must be out of your mind.
6
safe.
If you see that man of mine, how does he look? I forget.
Let's go.
6 months out of every year, we know there is no other day.
Safe.
If you used to go by 6, it's 6 to 1. There's a game.
Let's go.
6 months out of every year, when we cook for them, it never rains. Instead of praising our goulash, they're appraising the plays of Willie Mays. 6 months out of every year, I might as well be wearing crepe.
Wait again today.
Life is such an awful book from which I find no escape. We're dying for the mercury to drop to 3 below. We're crying for the happy days of icicles and snow. We don't mind sleeping so long, that is once a year or so. But with them it's a career.
April, May, June, July, August, September.
April, May, June, July, August, September. 6 months out of every
Well, Joe has an escape clause with the devil. And as long as he doesn't ask to be returned to his wife before the pennant is won, then he can get out of this deal. It's all very confusing in the show. And you know, at any rate, just so he doesn't stay faithful to his wife, the devil, Mr. Applegate, recruits his best Confederate, Lola, to stir things up. And you're the best homewrecker on my staff, Lola, but this guy's stubborn.
Oh, Chief, you know I've got what it takes. Don't make me brag. I took the zing out of the king of Siam. I took the starch out of the sails of the Prince of Wales. There's no great art getting the heart of a man on a silver platter. A little brains, a little talent, with an emphasis on the latter. I made mincemeat out of a sweet young farmer. I took the fight out of a knight when I pierced his armor, and I'll bet I can upset every male at a Yale regatta. A little brains, a little talent, with an emphasis on the latter. You gotta know just what to say and how to say it. You gotta know what game to play and how to play it. You gotta stack those decks with a couple of extra aces. And this queen's got her aces in all the right places. I've done much more than that old bore, Delilah. I took the curl out of the hair of a millionaire. There is no trick getting some hick who is cool, just a little warmer, a little talent, a little brains, with an emphasis on the former. Split up a home way up in Nome, Alaska, and wrecked the life of every wife down in Madagascar. Ask me why weak men will die for me, strong men simply shatter. A little brains, a little talent, with an emphasis on the latter. You gotta know just what to do and how to do it. You gotta know what tea to brew and how to brew it. You've seen the sign that says George Washington once slept here. Well, though nobody spied him, guess who was beside him? Bring on that boy, he'll be a toy for Lola. Just one more case she can erase with that old buffola. What's my plan? Same as with any man, I'll use the standard patter plus a little this'er and a little that'er, with an emphasis on the letter.
You've been introduced to Lola. Let's see her when she's in action.
Whatever Lola wants, Lola gets. And little man, little Lola wants you. Make up your mind to have no regrets. Recline yourself, resign yourself, you're through. I always get what I aim for, and your heart and soul is what I came for. Whatever Lola wants, Lola gets. No use to fight, don't you know you can't win? You're no exception to the rule. I'm irresistible, you fool. Give in, give in, give in. I always get what I aim for, and your heart and soul is what I came for. Lola wants, Lola gets. You'll never win. I'm irresistible, you fool. Give in, give in, give in.
Well, there's one complication that happens in the plot, which is that Lola actually falls in love with Joe, which, so how can she tempt him to be unfaithful to his wife when she really has his best interest at heart? And it really messes things up. And she and Joe finally sing of their admiration for each other in this next song.
Two lost souls on the highway of life. We ain't even got a sister or brother, but ain't it just great? Ain't it just grand?
We got each other.
Two lost ships on a stormy sea. One with no sail and one with no rudder. But ain't it just great? Ain't it just grand? We got each other. Two lost sheep all alone on the hills, far from the other Jacks and Jills. We wandered away and went astray, but we ain't fussing 'cause we got us and we're two lost souls on the highway of life, and there is no one with whom we would rather say, ain't it just great? Ain't it just grand? We got each other wherever we go, whatever we do, as long as you've got me and I've got you. We got a lot because we've got each other. We got a lot because we've got each other.
Well, we couldn't end the show without having a number that involved the baseball team itself. So guys, it's time to put on your butch pants. Richard's already got his butch pants on, but anyway, you get my drift. This is the big hit from the show.
You gotta have a heart. All you really need is heart. When the odds are saying you'll never win, that's when the grin should start.
You gotta have hope. Mustn't sit around and mope. Nothing's half as bad as it may appear. Wait till next year and hope.
When your luck is batting zero, get your chin up off the floor.
Mister, you can be a hero. You can open any door. There's nothing to it but to do it.
You gotta have a heart. Miles and miles and miles of heart.
Oh, it's fine to be a genius, of course.
But keep that old horse before the cart.
First you gotta have heart. All right, boys, let's get ready for practice. Yeah, come on.
A great slugger we haven't got.
A great pitcher we haven't got.
A great ball club we haven't got. What do we got? We've got heart. All you really need is heart. When the odds are saying you'll never win, that's when the grin should start. We've got hope. We don't sit around and mope. Not a solitary sob do we heave, mister, 'cause we've got hope.
We're so happy that we're humming.
Hum, hum, hum.
That's the hardy thing to do.
Hoo, hoo, hoo. 'Cause we know our ship will come in.
Hum, hum, hum.
So it's 10 years overdue.
Boo, hoo, hoo. We've got heart. Miles and miles and miles of heart. Oh, it's fine to be a genius, of course, but keep that old horse before the cart. So what the heck's the use of crying?
Why should we curse?
We gotta get better, 'cause we can't get worse.
Who minds those pop bottles flying?
The hisses and boos.
The team has been consistent.
Yeah, we always lose.
And to add to it, we've got heart. We've got heart. We've got heart.
thank you guys for coming out tonight. And also, I told you it was a big scoop of music, and you stayed till the last note. So thank you so much for coming. And you know, live performance is always a very exciting thing because you just never know what might happen. But, you know, with everything that might have happened that was rehearsed and unrehearsed this evening, there's one thing that we've got.
We've got heart. We've got heart. We've got heart.
Richard Paul Fink, Tamara Seiler, Amanda Passanante, Brad Gertz, Pantelis Karastamatis, Lauren Salazar, Whitney Zangarini, Seth Cunningham, and Maestro Stephen Jones.
And Paul Hope.
We'll be back in May. And one last thing, another hand for Richard. He created all of these graphics for us. How's that for talent? Drive safely, and we'll see you back here in May.
Thank you.